Fear is a very powerful force in politics. And this is something that has been discovered by everyone who is a student of the subject. This goes back to figures like Machiavelli, who have studied politics in a philosophical sense. And Machiavelli is always talking about the effectiveness of the use of fear. In fact, in a famous example, he talks about one of the Borgia princes who was very unpopular, and there was a revolt that was coming up in the area of Italy known as the Romagna. And so Cesare Borgia, who was the prince, decided, I don't want to crush the revolt because then the people there will hate me all the more. So what Borgia did was he brought in another guy named Ramiro di Orco, and he goes, listen, you crush all those people, smash them, destroy the revolt. And that's what the guy did. He was a very cruel man. He used extreme measures. And then when the revolt had been put down and there was a mood of terror throughout the society, what does the prince do? He says, the next day in the morning, the head of Ramiro di Orco, the designated cruel man, was found in the town square. And he says the people were gratified and they settled down and the province was peaceful and the prince could keep ruling it, this time without an obstinate rebellion on his hands. But notice what he did is he used fear, and then he got rid of the fear, and then he got all the credit for being the guy who got rid of the fear. Now, all of this is a sort of prelude for me to talk about ways in which in America, fear has been effectively deployed by the left and by the Democrats. Now, I think the big discovery for the Democrats was in 1932, because the country had been plunged into a depression and people were fearful. They were genuinely fearful. This was not manufactured fear. It was real fear. Where's my job? Where are my savings? My money in stocks has gone down to zero or close to zero. And the Democrats tapped that fear and were able to enact all kinds of welfare state measures that otherwise would never have gone through. So fear proved to be politically successful. And since then, going all the way back now to the 1960s, for the last 50 years, the Democrats are always trying to recreate that fear, except now the fear is often fictional. It's often made up. It's imaginary. Oh, the world is running out of food. This was the so-called Club of Rome in the 1970s. Or the ozone layer is being depleted. Or more recently, COVID. And under COVID, think of what all the stuff they're able to do using the politics of fear. You can't go to church. You can't keep your business open. Now, certain businesses are exempt, and it's always the case that you have this sort of favoritism that comes into politics when these things are involved. But nevertheless, COVID was a great pretext for the suppression of basic liberties, the liberty of free expression and free speech, freedom of assembly, freedom of religion. So think about it. They were able to get all the key protections of the First Amendment and sort of knock them out with a single threat, namely a virus. January 6th was used to create fear. Again, I think a fear that's largely artificial. Oh, there are insurrections all around us. There are domestic terrorists who are cooking up plots. And so we need a regime of censorship. We need the FBI to target these people. Fear. And then as we head into 2024, what will it be? A revival of COVID? It could even be something totally different. It could even be climate change. The world is coming to an end. Look, we've had this really scorching summer. We're going to have perhaps a cold winter. This is climate change. Our environment is being wrecked. We've got to take all these measures right now. And so fear is a very useful tool of the police state. And yet, it is not enough for us, on the other side, the opponents of the police state, if you will, just to point that out and warn people, as we should. They're using fear to control us. Lots of people are doing that. But I am adopting a little bit of a technique, which is that one way to beat them is to join them. And what I mean by that is that recognize the effectiveness of the way in which the Democrats deploy the real, or in some cases imaginary, technique of fear. Well, what I want to do, and this is the point of police state, is I want to use people's genuine and rational fear that that their liberties are in danger, and that there is a a kind of an opening, a window of time in which we can block the police state. So we need to move while time remains. But when time runs out, then there's nothing you can do, or very little you can do, or the only thing you can do is try to flee, try to get out of the country, try to get your money out, try to get your relatives out, try to get yourself out. We don't want to be in that situation. So I want to tell you up front and in advance that the police state is in a way a profoundly frightening movie. But it's a frightening movie not because, like the climate change guys, I'm cooking it up. It's a frightening movie because there are frightening things going on in the country. Now, there are a lot of Americans who go, well, it's not going to happen to me. And these are guys who are sort of like the grazing antelope who goes, well, you know that there's a movement in the trees, but I think it's got to be wind. I don't think that there's a predator who's going to jump. And if there is one, he's not going to jump on my back. Well, this is the kind of naive, I would say bovinely stupid view that brings you a police state. So the movie is intended to warn you, don't be that antelope. Debbie and I are on a really good health journey, but we still struggle to eat enough fruits, veggies, and fiber, and that is a requirement. Now, lucky for us, we discovered Balance of Nature, and what better way to get all your fruits and veggies plus fiber than with Balance of Nature? This is Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies in a capsule, so easy to take, made from fresh whole produce. The produce is powdered after an advanced vacuum cold process, which stabilizes the maximum nutrient content. And this is Balance of Nature's Fiber and Spice, a proprietary blend of fiber and 12 spices for overall and digestive health. Join Debbie and me. Start your journey to better health right now. Call 800-246-8751 or go to balanceofnature.com. You'll get 35% off your first preferred order by using discount code America. Again, it's balanceofnature.com, or you can call 800-246-8751. Get 35% off your first preferred order by using discount code America.